Before we begin, take a moment to get comfortable. This is a slow story, meant to be listened to quietly, maybe as you rest or drift off. If you enjoy calm history, everyday lives from the past, and stories that move at a gentle pace, consider liking this video and subscribing to the channel. It helps these long, peaceful documentaries reach more people who need them. Now let's step back in time. Before the sun even thinks about rising, the village is already awake. Not fully alive, not buzzing, just stirring. Mud brick houses sit low to the ground like tired animals, their walls cracked from years of heat and rain. Narrow dirt paths wind between them, packed hard by bare feet, wooden carts, and time itself. Beyond the last home, the fields stretch out in every direction, flat and quiet, waiting. This village has no grand gate, no sign, no name carved in stone. It exists because people need a place to sleep before waking up to work again. A rooster breaks the silence, then another. They are not polite about it. Their calls echo across the village like badly timed alarms. Smoke begins to rise from cook fires as families light small hearths inside their homes. The smoke never fully leaves. It clings to clothes, hair, and walls. Somewhere a door creaks open. Someone coughs. Someone else shuffles past carrying a bucket. The day is beginning, not because anyone wants it to, but because it has to. There are no clocks here, no bells to ring the hour. Time is not something you check. Time is something you feel. You wake when the sky starts to pale. You work until the light fades. You eat when food is ready. You sleep when your body gives up. The seasons tell you what month it is. The weather tells you how worried you should be. In this village, time does not hurry, but it also never waits. Meet the everyday villager. He does not have a famous name. History did not write him down. He could be anyone. A farmer, a labourer, someone's son, someone's father. He wakes on a straw mat, his joints already sore, his stomach already empty. He does not ask what the day will bring. He already knows. Work, hunger, repetition. Maybe a laugh if he's lucky. Maybe nothing new at all. This village has a rhythm. It repeats itself day after day, year after year. Children grow into the same work their parents do. Elders sit in the same places, watching the same paths. Nothing changes quickly here. That is both a comfort and a warning. A good harvest means survival. A bad one means hunger. The village endures, but only just. It is always one disaster away from breaking. The homes are simple, mud mixed with straw, roofs of thatch or tile if the family is lucky. Inside there is very little. A few tools, a pot, maybe a bench. The fire pit sits in the centre, and smoke stains the ceiling dark. Animals may share the space, especially in winter. Comfort is not the goal, shelter is, and even that is never guaranteed. Outside, footsteps press into the dirt roads. Bare feet, sandals, worn shoes repaired more times than anyone remembers. Carts creak under the weight of tools. Someone mutters about the weather. Someone else spits into the dust. These roads lead everywhere and nowhere. They connect homes to fields, fields to worry back to home again. The fields wait patiently. They always do. Rows of soil stretch toward the horizon, empty for now but full of expectation. The land decides everything here. It gives food or it does not. It forgives mistakes or it punishes them. The villagers know this. They bow to the land more deeply than they bow to any official. There is a quiet strength in this place. Not loud courage, not heroic speeches, just endurance. Getting up again, doing the same work again, eating the same meals again, sleeping, then waking, then doing it all over. The village survives not because life is easy, but because giving up is not an option. As the sun finally climbs above the fields, the village is fully awake. The day has arrived. Nothing dramatic has happened. No battles. No announcements. Just another dawn. Another chance to survive. And for the people here, that is more than enough. This is life before the sun, after the sun, and always beneath it. If you live in a medieval Chinese village, the land is not just land. It is boss, judge, and sometimes executioner. Everything depends on it. The soil decides if you eat, if you trade, if you survive winter. Villagers learn early that arguing with the land does nothing. You work it, respect it, and hope it shows mercy. Some villages sit near rivers, and that can be a blessing. Water brings life, crops and transport. It also brings floods. The Yellow River is famous for this. It changes course, swallows homes, and buries fields under mud. When the river behaves, people praise it. When it doesn't, they quietly prepare for disaster. No speeches, just fear and rebuilding. Other villages live far from rivers, on dry land that cracks under the sun. These villagers pray for rain. Too much rain destroys crops. Too little does the same. It is a strange system. The perfect amount of water exists, but no one knows when it will arrive. Farmers read clouds like books they never fully understand. Irrigation canals are lifelines. They're dug by hand, maintained by everyone and argued over constantly. Who gets water first? Who gets less? Water fights do not look dramatic. They look like silence, resentment, and angry glances. Still, the canals stay, break them, and the whole village starves. Soil quality matters more than effort. A farmer can work all day and still lose if the land is poor. Some fields are dark and rich, others are stubborn and thin. Everyone knows which family has better land. No one says it out loud. Envy is quiet here. It has to be. The land remembers everything. Overworked fields grow tired, crops fail. Rotations are used when possible, but survival often comes first. Villagers push the land harder than it wants. The land pushes back later, usually at the worst time. Ownership is complicated. Some villagers own small plots. Others rent land from landlords they rarely see. Rent is paid in grain. Bad harvest, still owe grain. The land does not care about contracts, but people do, and they collect. Floods come suddenly, droughts come slowly. Both ruin lives, floods destroy homes overnight. Droughts stretch hunger thin over months. Villagers fear both, but drought might be worse. At least floods end quickly. Hunger just waits. Despite everything, villagers trust the land more than people. Officials change, dynasties rise and fall. The land stays. When politics collapse, farming continues. When wars pass through, fields are replanted. The land is cruel, but it is honest. By the end of the day, the villagers leave the fields the same way they entered them. Tired, hopeful, and unsure. Tomorrow depends on the land again. It always does. In this village, survival is rooted in soil, watered by sweat and harvested with patience. Farming in a medieval Chinese village is not a job. It is life. It starts before sunrise and ends when the body finally refuses to move. The tools are simple, the work is not. Every meal eaten later depends on what happens here, in the dirt, with aching backs and blistered hands. The plough is usually wooden, sometimes tipped with iron if the village is lucky. A water buffalo pulls it slowly, calmly, like it has accepted this life already. The farmer walks behind, guiding the blade, trying not to trip. This is not fast work. Speed only ruins soil and bodies. Hands do most of the work, planting, weeding, harvesting. Fingers dig into wet mud or dry earth, depending on the season. Gloves are rare, pain is normal. After a while, the hands stop feeling much at all. This is not bravery, it is adaptation. Children work too. As soon as they can walk steadily, they help. Carrying water, pulling weeds, scaring birds away from crops. Childhood here is short. No one announces when it ends. It just quietly disappears. Rice farming is especially cruel to the knees and back. Farmers stand in flooded paddies for hours, bent over, planting shoots one by one. Leeches sometimes join them. No one is surprised. You flick them off and keep going. Rice does not wait. Wheat and millet are kinder to the feet, but not to the shoulders. Harvest time means long days swinging sickles, cutting stalks again and again. The motion never changes. Swing, cut, stack, repeat. It becomes almost meditative, if your arms survive. There are no days off. Rain means work. Heat means work. Illness means slower work. Only serious injury stops farming, and even then someone else picks up the tools. The land does not care how you feel today. Seasonal calendars guide everything: ploughing, planting, flooding, draining, harvesting. Miss the window and the crop fails. Farmers do not argue with seasons, they obey them. Nature gives instructions, people follow. At the end of the day, tools are cleaned and leaned against walls. They are treated with care. A broken tool can mean hunger later. These tools are not fancy, but they are trusted, like old friends who hurt you but keep you alive. When the farmers finally leave the fields, they're tired in a deep, heavy way, the kind that makes sleep easy but waking hard. Tomorrow will be the same, and the day after that. Farming does not promise reward, it promises survival, and for this village, that is enough. Food in a medieval Chinese village is not about choice. It is about availability. You eat what grows, what stores well, and what you can afford to lose. Most days, meals are simple and quiet. No one asks, "What do you feel like eating today?" The answer is always the same anyway. Grain is the centre of everything, rice in the south, wheat and millet in the north. Grain becomes porridge, flatbread, noodles or steamed cakes. It fills the stomach and keeps people moving. Flavour is a bonus, not a requirement. Vegetables come next: cabbage, turnips, onions, leafy greens. Fresh when possible, pickled when not. Pickling is survival. Salted vegetables last through winter and taste better than hunger, which is a very low bar. Meat exists, but it is rare. Chickens are more valuable alive than eaten. Pigs are saved for special occasions or emergencies. Fish is common near rivers, less so inland. Most villagers go weeks without tasting meat and do not complain about it out loud. Oil and salt are precious, salt especially. It preserves food, adds flavour, and keeps people healthy. Losing access to salt can slowly destroy a village. It is traded carefully and used sparingly. No one pours it freely. Meals are shared. Families eat together from common dishes. There are no courses. There is no rush. Eating is calm, quiet, and focused. Talking happens, but not much. Energy is saved for work. Hunger is familiar, not always sharp, but always nearby. People learn to live slightly hungry. It becomes normal. A full stomach feels heavy and strange. Hunger sharpens attention. It also shortens tempers. During good years, food is stored. Grain jars are sealed, vegetables are dried. Everyone hopes it is enough. During bad years, these stores empty quickly. When the jars are bare, fear arrives quietly. Festivals change everything. Briefly, extra food appears, meat is cooked, alcohol flows, laughter gets louder. These moments matter because they remind people that life can be more than survival, even if only for a night. Most days end the same way: a simple meal, an empty bowl, enough strength to sleep. Food does not make villagers happy, it keeps them alive, and in this village, that is considered a successful dinner. A medieval Chinese village home is not meant to impress anyone. It is meant to keep rain off your head and wind off your skin. That is the full goal. The walls are made from mud mixed with straw, pressed into shape by hand. They crack, they crumble, and they are repaired again and again. No one complains. A house that still stands is a good house. Most homes have one main room. Everything happens there. Cooking, eating, sleeping, talking, arguing, recovering from illness, and sometimes dying. Space is shared because there is no choice. Privacy is a rare luxury like meat or sugar. The fire pit is the heart of the house. It cooks food, provides warmth, and fills the air with smoke. Chimneys are uncommon. Smoke rises, lingers, and stains the walls black. People cough, blink, and adjust. Eventually they stop noticing it. Furniture is minimal: a bench, a table, maybe a storage chest. Most people sleep on mats laid directly on the floor. Bedding is rolled up during the day to make space. Comfort exists, but it is modest and temporary. Animals sometimes share the house. Chickens wander in. Pigs or goats may stay close during cold months. Body heat matters. Smell is ignored. Survival is practical, not polite. Winter is harsh. Cold air slips through cracks in the walls. Families huddle near the fire and sleep close together. Extra clothing becomes blankets. Summer is no kinder. Heat traps itself inside, and shade is precious. Homes are built to last just long enough. Floods wash them away. Earthquakes crack them open. When that happens, people rebuild. Not with anger, with tired acceptance. A fallen house is work, not tragedy. Decoration is rare. A paper charm, a small shrine to ancestors. Maybe a symbol for protection. These are not for beauty. They are for luck. And luck is taken very seriously. At night the village grows quiet, fires dim, doors close, families settle into their small spaces. Sounds carry easily. A cough, a whisper, a baby crying. The village sleeps together, whether it wants to or not. These homes do not protect villagers from hardship. They simply give it a place to rest. Inside these mud walls, people recover just enough to face the next day, and for this village, that is home. In a medieval Chinese village, family is everything. Not in a warm, sentimental way, in a practical way. Family is labour, safety, food, and survival rolled into one. You're born into it, shaped by it, and rarely leave it. Independence is a modern idea. Here it would sound strange and unnecessary. Homes are shared by many generations. Grandparents, parents, children, sometimes cousins or distant relatives. Space is tight, but roles are clear. Elders advise, adults work, children learn quickly. Everyone contributes, whether they feel like it or not. Marriage is rarely about romance. It is about stability. Families arrange unions based on land, labour and reputation. Love may come later, or not. Either way, the work continues. Weddings are simple. Life after them is not. People marry young. Teenagers are already considered adults. There is work to be done, and waiting makes no sense. Children soon follow. More hands mean more help. More mouths too, but the balance is accepted. Children are taught early that they belong to the family before themselves. They fetch water, watch siblings, scare birds from crops. Praise is rare. Correction is common. This is not cruelty. It is preparation. Elders are respected deeply. They hold memory, tradition and authority. When an elder speaks, others listen, even when the advice is old, especially when it is old. Filial duty is not optional. Caring for parents in old age is expected. There are no institutions to send them to. Family is the system. When bodies weaken, responsibility shifts, but it never disappears. Arguments happen, of course. Space is tight, food is limited, stress is constant, but anger is controlled. Long grudges weaken families, and weak families do not survive long here. Love exists, but it is shown quietly, through shared work, through food saved for someone else, through staying. Big emotional speeches are rare. Endurance is the language of care. In this village, family is not something you choose. It is something you live inside every day. It demands effort, patience, and sacrifice. And in return, it gives you a place to belong, which, in a fragile world, is worth a lot. Every medieval Chinese village has a hierarchy, even if no one talks about it openly. Some people decide things, most people do not. Power here is quiet, practical, and very real. It lives in who collects grain, who settles arguments, and who speaks when officials arrive. At the centre is the village headman. He's usually older, respected, and careful with his words. His job is to keep order, collect taxes, and make sure the village survives without attracting trouble. He is not powerful enough to be safe and not weak enough to be ignored. Elders support him. These are men who have lived long enough to remember bad years and worse mistakes. Their advice is slow, cautious, and usually correct. People listen because experience here is paid for with hunger and loss. Then there are landlords. Some live far away, some live nearby. Either way, they own the land and expect payment. Rent comes in grain, not excuses. A bad harvest does not cancel debt. It just makes it heavier. Tax collectors appear a few times a year. When they do, the village changes. Conversations grow careful. Grain jars are checked twice. No one wants attention. Attention brings questions. Questions bring trouble. Justice is local. Small disputes are handled by elders, land arguments, family conflicts, missing tools. Punishments are practical. Fines, labour, public shame. No prisons needed. Everyone knows everyone. Serious crimes go beyond the village. That is feared. Imperial law is distant, harsh, and expensive. Most villagers prefer settling things quietly. Silence often keeps people alive. Social mobility is rare. A peasant's child usually becomes a peasant. A lucky few might study, leave, or rise. Most will never see anything beyond nearby fields. The village does not promise dreams, it promises continuity. Power here is not flashy, it does not wear armour or shout orders. It whispers, it waits, it reminds you who owes what and who decides when patience ends. In this village, knowing your place keeps life simple. Not easy, simple. People work, listen, and endure. The hierarchy holds things together, even when it bends them. And for now, the village continues. The empire feels far away from a medieval Chinese village, but its weight is always present. It does not speak loudly, it does not visit often. But every year it asks the same question in the same way. How much grain do you owe? Taxes are paid in grain, not coins. Coins are rare, grain is real, it can be eaten, stored, or taken away. The village measures harvests carefully, knowing part of it already belongs to someone else. Tax season brings tension. Officials arrive with records and expectations. They trust numbers more than people. Villagers trust silence more than honesty. Both sides understand the game. Some villagers hide grain, small amounts, nothing obvious. A jar buried here, a sack moved there. This is risky. If caught, punishment is harsh. But hunger is harsher. Labour is also a tax. Men are sometimes taken to work on roads, canals, or walls far from home. Families wait. Fields go unattended, survival becomes harder, but refusal is not an option. When harvests are good, taxes sting less. When harvests fail, taxes feel cruel. The empire rarely adjusts its demands. Hunger does not change policy. Officials do not see faces. They see villages as numbers on scrolls. One village fails, another replaces it. The empire moves on. Despite this, villagers do not hate the empire loudly. Hatred is dangerous. Instead, they endure. Complaints are whispered. Survival stays quiet. Sometimes rebellion flares elsewhere. News travels slowly. Villagers listen, then return to work. Revolutions are loud. Farming is constant. The empire rises and falls above them, but the village remains. Taxes come, grain leaves, life continues. The weight is heavy but familiar, and familiarity here is a kind of peace. Famine does not arrive loudly. It does not announce itself. It begins as a worry, a bad rain, a dry spell. Crops grow thin. Heads of grain feel light in the hand. Villagers notice, but no one panics yet. Panic comes later. At first, meals shrink. Bowls are filled a little less. Children are told they are not hungry. Adults pretend the same. No one says the word famine. Saying it feels dangerous, like inviting it closer. Grain stores are opened early. This is never a good sign. Jars meant for winter are touched in autumn. People count days in their heads. If the next harvest fails too, there will be nothing left to count. Livestock disappears next. Chickens are eaten. Pigs are slaughtered sooner than planned. What once felt like wealth now feels like delay. Each animal eaten buys time. Time is all anyone wants. When food runs low, people sell things. Tools, clothing, land, anything that can be exchanged for grain. Prices rise as supplies fall. Hunger makes terrible bargains feel reasonable. Some villagers leave. They walk toward rumours of better land or relief. Many do not return. The village grows quieter. Empty homes stand open, waiting for no one. Disease follows hunger. Weak bodies fall ill easily. Children fade fastest. Elders last longer than expected, sometimes out of stubbornness alone. Death becomes familiar, then constant. Stories spread quietly, of people eating bark, of boiling leather, of things worse. No one confirms them. No one needs to. Silence says enough. Officials may arrive with aid, or they may not. Sometimes help comes too late. Sometimes it never comes. The village learns not to expect rescue. Hope becomes smaller, more careful. Eventually the famine ends, not because it is defeated, but because it moves on. Those who survive return to the fields thinner, quieter, and older than before. The land is planted again. Memory is buried. Life continues because it has to. Illness is part of daily life in a medieval Chinese village. It does not feel unusual or dramatic. People wake up sick, work sick, and sometimes die sick. There are no doctors waiting nearby. Healing is handled at home, quietly, with hope and habit. Most sickness starts small, a cough, a fever, a wound that does not heal. People notice, but they keep working. Stopping feels dangerous. The fields do not pause for illness. Medicine is local. Herbs gathered from nearby hills, teas boiled slowly, poultices pressed onto skin. Some treatments help, some do nothing. No one pretends to know which is which. Superstition fills the gaps where knowledge ends. Spirits may cause illness. Bad luck may linger. Charms are hung. Prayers are whispered. These things bring comfort, even if they change nothing. Children fall ill often. Many do not survive. Families grieve quietly and then keep moving. There is work to do. Stopping completely would only add hunger to loss. Infections are especially feared. A small cut can turn deadly. Without clean tools or understanding, wounds become dangerous. Villagers clean them as best they can and hope. Death is familiar. It visits often and without warning. When it arrives, it is met calmly. Bodies are washed. Family gathers. Rituals are followed. Grief is real, but loud mourning is rare. Burials are simple. Graves are shallow. Markers are modest. What matters is honouring ancestors, not monuments. Memory lives in family stories, not stone. Life expectancy is short, but people do not count years the way we do. Living long means seeing many seasons. Reaching old age feels like luck, not achievement. Disease and death shape how villagers live. They do not plan far ahead. They value today's work, today's meal, today's warmth. Tomorrow is welcome but never promised. In a medieval Chinese village, the visible world is only half the story. The invisible world is everywhere. Spirits watch, Ancestors listen. Ghosts wander. No one sees them directly, but everyone behaves as if they are just nearby, quietly paying attention. Ancestors matter deeply. They are not gone. They have simply moved to another room of existence. Families leave offerings, burn incense, and speak softly to them. Respect keeps the dead calm. Neglect invites trouble. Local gods protect specific things. Fields, rivers, doorways, hearths, each god has a job. When something goes wrong, villagers wonder which one has been offended. Apologies come quickly. Ghost stories are common and taken seriously. Spirits of the hungry, the wronged, or the forgotten are said to wander at night. Children are warned not to stay out late. Adults follow the same advice. Illness and bad luck often have spiritual explanations. A spirit may be unhappy. An ancestor may feel ignored. Villagers respond with rituals, prayers, and offerings. It feels better than doing nothing. Feng Shui shapes village life. Homes are placed carefully. Doors face certain directions. Graves are positioned thoughtfully. Balance matters. Bad placement invites misfortune, and misfortune is already common enough. Charms hang everywhere. Red paper, symbols, knotted cords. They protect against sickness, ghosts, and bad luck. No one claims they work perfectly. They just work better than nothing. Dreams are watched closely. A strange dream might be a warning. A good one might be a promise. Villagers share dreams quietly, trying to understand what the unseen world is saying. Superstition does not replace logic here. It lives beside it. Villagers still plant crops, repair homes, and work hard. Belief fills the spaces where control ends. In this village, spirits explain what people cannot. They soften fear, give meaning to loss, and make the world feel less random. When life is fragile, belief becomes another kind of shelter. Most days in a medieval Chinese village feel the same. Work, food, sleep, repeat. That is why festivals matter so much. They break the pattern. They remind people that time can feel different, even if only for a short while. The new year is the biggest moment. Homes are cleaned. Old dust is swept away along with bad luck. Paper charms are replaced. For once, people believe the future might improve just because the calendar says so. Food improves during festivals, not dramatically, but noticeably. More grain, better vegetables, sometimes meat. Meals feel generous, bowls are filled twice, no one rushes, hunger takes the night off. Markets arrive with noise. Merchants bring cloth, salt, tools, stories, and gossip. The village feels larger when outsiders appear. News travels faster than goods. Money changes hands, but so does information. Who married who, which village flooded, which road is unsafe. This knowledge is just as valuable as grain. Entertainment is simple. Music, drums, storytelling. Children laugh louder than usual. Adults smile more often. No one pretends life is perfect. They just enjoy the pause. Alcohol flows more freely. Rice wine warms bodies and loosens tongues. Arguments rise and fade. Laughter does too. Tomorrow's work is forgotten for one night. Games appear, dice, simple contests, small bets. Winning feels important even if the prize is tiny. Luck feels close during festivals, like it might finally be listening. As the festival ends, decorations come down, merchants leave, leftovers are eaten slowly. The village exhales. Joy fades gently, without bitterness. These moments do not change lives, but they make them bearable. In a world built on endurance, brief happiness is not a weakness. It is fuel. Most days in a medieval Chinese village are peaceful. That does not mean they feel safe. Violence is not constant, but it is always possible. People live knowing that calm can break without warning. Bandits are the most common fear. They travel in small groups, armed and desperate. They target villages like this one because there is just enough grain to steal and not enough protection to stop them. Villages prepare quietly. Tools are kept close. Grain is hidden. Paths are watched. No alarms, no walls. Defense here relies on awareness and luck. When bandits arrive, they move fast. Shouting, threats, sometimes violence. Villagers comply. Resistance usually makes things worse. Survival comes before pride. Afterward, the village counts losses, grain, tools, animals, sometimes people. Grief is quiet, anger is swallowed. The fields still need tending. War feels distant most of the time, but armies pass through eventually. Soldiers eat, take, and move on. Villagers hope to be noticed as little as possible. Conscription is another fear. Young men may be taken to fight far from home. Families wait without news. Some never see their sons again. Violence leaves marks that do not fade quickly. Even when wounds heal, fear lingers. People listen more closely at night. Dogs bark and everyone wakes. Despite this, life continues. Fields are planted, festivals return, fear becomes background noise. People adapt. They always do. Violence is never far, but it does not define the village. Endurance does. The goal is not victory or revenge, it is making it to tomorrow. Life in a medieval Chinese village moves in cycles, not milestones. Birth, work, aging and death flow together like seasons. No one rushes them. No one escapes them either. Birth is both joy and worry. Babies arrive at home helped by family and neighbours. Survival is uncertain. Names are chosen carefully, sometimes changed later to confuse bad spirits. Children grow fast. Work teaches them more than lessons. By the time they reach adolescence, they already know their future. The village prepares them gently and firmly. Adulthood is marked by responsibility, not ceremony. Marriage, work, and children arrive quickly. Life narrows into routine, and routine becomes identity. Aging is respected. Wrinkles mean survival. Elders speak less but are listened to more. They have seen enough to be careful with words. Old age brings slowing bodies but steady presence. Elders watch children play, fields grow, and seasons turn. Their work is memory. Death is accepted as part of life. When it comes, it is met with ritual, respect, and restraint. The village pauses briefly, then moves on. Grief is private. Tears are shed at home. Public life resumes quickly. The fields do not wait, even for sorrow. Life lessons are not spoken often. They're observed. Endure, share, respect the land, care for family. These are enough. In this village, life is not measured by achievement. It is measured by continuity. One generation passes, another takes its place. The cycle continues calm and unbroken. In a medieval Chinese village, change is slow. Very slow. Days repeat. Years blur together. A person can live their whole life walking the same paths, touching the same soil and seeing the same hills every morning. Generations follow the same pattern. A grandfather ploughs a field, his son ploughs the same field, his grandson will too. The land remembers their footprints better than history ever will. New ideas arrive slowly, if they arrive at all. News travels by foot, not thought. What worked before is trusted. What is new is watched carefully, then usually ignored. Clothing styles change little. Tools remain the same. Homes are rebuilt the way they always were. Familiarity feels safer than improvement. Opportunities to leave are rare. Leaving means risk. Staying means survival. Most people choose survival. The village is not exciting, but it is known. Even disasters do not change everything. Floods, famine, and war come and go. When they pass, the village rebuilds in the same shape as before. This sameness creates a quiet kind of peace. People know what to expect. Surprise is rare. Predictability becomes comfort. It also limits dreams. Few imagine a different life. Not because they cannot, but because imagining costs energy better spent surviving. History books focus on emperors and wars. Villages like this stay invisible. Yet these quiet lives support everything above them. A life that rarely changes is not small. It is steady. It endures. And in a fragile world, endurance is its own kind of greatness. Empires rise and fall far away from the village, but their shadows still reach it. News arrives slowly, often late and usually incomplete. A dynasty ends, another begins, the fields remain. When an empire weakens, order loosens, tax collectors arrive less often, soldiers wander more freely, law becomes uneven. Villagers feel this shift before they fully understand it. Rebellion sounds dramatic in stories. In real life, it feels like fear and uncertainty. Villagers hear rumours of fighting, burned towns, and broken roads. They listen, then keep working. Sometimes armies pass through. Flags change. Commands are shouted in new accents. Supplies are taken. Promises are made and forgotten. The village learns not to care who is in charge today. When chaos peaks, villagers suffer. Fields go untended, trade stops, hunger returns. Survival becomes harder but familiar. The village tightens inward. Eventually order returns. A new dynasty claims power. Officials return with fresh scrolls and old demands. Taxes resume. Life settles back into routine. For villagers, the change feels mostly the same. Different names, same work, same soil. The empire may change, but farming does not. Some elders remember previous dynasties. They shake their heads and say little. Experience teaches that nothing lasts except labour. The village survives by being small and patient. It does not resist loudly. It does not celebrate loudly either. It waits. Empires fall, empires rise. The village wakes before the sun again. Seeds are planted. Life continues steady and stubborn. Survival in a medieval Chinese village is not heroic. No one gives speeches about it. No one celebrates it loudly. Survival simply means waking up again. It means your house still stands, your family is still near, and there is work to do. People here do not ask if life is fair. That question feels pointless. The land gives and takes. The empire demands. Illness arrives, death follows. Survival is not about control, it is about response. Happiness is smaller than we imagine it now. A full bowl, a healthy child, a quiet night without fear. These moments matter because they are not guaranteed. Endurance becomes a skill. People learn when to speak, when to stay silent, when to push forward, and when to wait. This knowledge is not written down, it is lived. There is pride here, but it is quiet. It lives in repaired walls, replanted fields, and children who grow strong enough to help. No medals needed. From the outside, this life may look small. From inside it is full of effort, memory, belief, and care. Nothing is wasted, not even suffering. Generations pass without knowing their names will be forgotten. They do not worry about it. What matters is that someone remains to tend the fields. Survival shapes values. Patience matters more than ambition. Cooperation matters more than strength. Staying alive together matters more than standing out alone. When night falls, the village grows quiet again. Fires dim. Conversations fade. Another day has been endured. That is enough. To survive here is not to conquer life, but to move with it. Slowly, carefully, one dawn at a time. And in this village, that is the greatest achievement of all.